With an estimated net worth of over $1.3 billion, Kanye West is without a doubt one of the richest musicians in the world. If you ask me, I'd say West is a quadruple threat. I mean, he is a producer, a rapper, songwriter, and a record executive. You may not know this though, but in 2016, Kanye West tweeted that he was more than $50 million in debt. So, how did this rapper go from broke to becoming a billionaire? Stick with us as we explore Kanye's journey. Kanye Omari West was born on June 8, 1977 in Atlanta, Georgia. Here's a fun fact though, his name Kanye means the only one in Swahili. While his father, Jay, was an award-winning photographer who later became a church counselor, his mother, Donda, was an English professor. Sadly, at just 3 years old, his parents divorced amicably, and Kanye was raised on Chicago's South Side by his mother. He, however, spent summers with his father. At age 10, West followed his mother to China for a year, where she taught as part of a university exchange program. West was the only foreigner in his class. After returning to Chicago, the young chap took to the South Side's hip-hop scene, befriending the DJ and producer No ID, who turned out to become West's mentor. West attended Polaris High School and won a scholarship to study at Chicago's American Academy of Art. He spent only a year at the college before dropping out, a decision that would later influence the title of his first solo album years later. According to him, he learns better from real life as opposed to sitting in the four walls of a classroom. At that time, real life for Kanye meant rapping and working with local artists. West spent his time producing for local artists and developed a signature style known as the chipmunk soul. It was characterized by sped-up soul samples. In 2001, he felt it was time to pursue his music career full-time, and so he moved to New York that year. It was in New York he got his big break to handle the production for Jay-Z's track This Can't Be Life, which was part of the 2000 album Dynasty Rock La Familia. Within a short time frame, Kanye established himself as a reputable producer. His mixes and beats were getting him a reputation as someone who knew his stuff. A year after producing a track for Jay-Z, he was called upon once again to produce 4 songs on Jay-Z's 2001 album, The Blueprint. This cemented his burgeoning reputation. The album has loosely been described as one of the greatest rap albums of all time, and within its first week, it sold over 420,000 copies. From there, Kanye went on to produce for other stars, including rappers Ludacris, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, and singers Beyoncé and Alicia Keys. But despite his success in the production niche, Kanye wanted way more. He wasn't content with being a backroom player. As a matter of fact, he wanted to be the headline act. He wanted to be taken seriously as a rapper. He cut his own demo while producing for other musicians and started shopping around. Sadly, no one was interested in working with him as a rapper. In some interviews, Kanye recalled that he left meetings crying all the time. No one believed he was a perfect fit for the industry. Jay-Z once told Time magazine that we all grew up street guys who had to do whatever we had to do to get by. Then there's Kanye, who to my knowledge has never hustled a day in his life. I didn't see how it could work. However, in 2002, Damon Dash of Rockefeller Records reluctantly gave Kanye a chance. This was the same label that signed Jay-Z. Dash signed Kanye mostly to retain him as a producer. And that was how he started recording in the studio. Tragedy struck that October. On his way home from a recording session in Los Angeles, Kanye fell asleep at the wheel and was involved in a head-on car collision that left him with a broken face and a shattered jaw. He nearly died in the crash and had to endure months of recovery, including a reconstructive surgery that left his jaw wired shut. Funnily enough, a nearly fatal accident was not enough to stop Kanye. He moved forward with his album and even recorded a song about the experience through The Wire. Explaining his ordeal to Ebony magazine, Kanye said, "I feel like the album was my medicine. It would take my mind away from the pain, away from the dental appointments, from my teeth killing me, from my mouth being wired shut, from the fact that I look like I just fought Mike Tyson. I nearly died. That's the best thing that can happen to a rapper." Through the Wire was the first track of several singles on his album, The College Dropout. He wrote most of the remaining songs in his debut album while recuperating in LA. Before the album was released, it leaked online. In response, West decided to make it even better. He went on to revise and rewrite the songs, redefining the production. Kanye added stronger drum lines, strings, and even gospel choirs, paying for the orchestras from his own pocket. The album was finally released in February 2004. It went multi-platinum, selling 2.6 million copies. His album was hailed as one of the best albums of the year, making Kanye a star. Critics lauded Kanye for adding a new twist to hip-hop and taking it in a new direction. Songs on the College Dropout focused on walking with God while trying to keep it real. Plus, Kanye had a gospel choir backing him up. According to hip-hop vocalist Miri Ben-Ari, who worked with Kanye on the album, Kanye has a vision for things. For example, to bring live instrumentalists back to the game and create music as they did back in the day. Kanye is very open to new things. He's not afraid to think differently, to take a chance, and to say his thoughts out loud. You'll have to give it to Kanye. His album broke the gangster rap mold with themes such as religion, racism, higher education, and consumerism. His single Jesus Walks, for example, says, "They say you can rap about anything except for Jesus. That means guns, sex, lies, videotapes. But if I talk about God, my record won't get played." Kanye also admits to writing lyrics on topics that aren't usually covered in rap music. Speaking to Universal Urban, he says, "It's like if you want to rap like Jay-Z, it's hard to rap like Jay and not rap about what Jay is rapping about. Once I found out exactly how to rap about drugs and exactly how to rap about say no to drugs. I knew I could fill the exact medium between that. Just think about whatever you've been through in the past week, and I have a song about that on my album." Kanye West was rewarded for his originality. The College Dropout peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 200 chart, and West received 10 Grammy nominations, winning 3 awards. He also won 4 Billboard Music Awards in 2004, including Male New Artist of the Year, New R&B/Hip Hop Artist of the Year, R&B/Hip Hop Producer of the Year, and Rap Artist of the Year. Shortly after his album was released, Kanye founded his own record label, Good Music, Good being an acronym for Getting Out Our Dreams. He did this in conjunction with Sony BMG and would later put out music by John Legend, Common, Big Sean, and many other famous artists. Kanye went on to create other amazing albums, such as Late Registration in 2005 and Graduation in 2007. For his album Late Registration, Kanye invested a year and about $2 million on this sophomore album, hiring an orchestra and working with composer John Brion. Kanye was eager to see how far he could expand hip-hop, and true to his thoughts, the results were often spectacular. Late Registration yielded yet another 3 Grammy wins: Best Rap Album, Best Rap Solo Performance for his song Gold Digger, and Best Rap Song for Diamonds from Sierra Leone. This time around, Late Registration debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 200, a feat that Kanye somehow managed to repeat with other subsequent solo album releases. A month after Late Registration was released, Kanye was on NBC soliciting funds for the victims of Hurricane Katrina. His attempt to raise funds wasn't really the issue. Kanye, however, caused a national media storm when he opined on live TV that George Bush doesn't care about black people. He referenced several widespread criticisms of the president for not visiting the city of New Orleans right away. In response, Bush, who was deeply stung by the comment, and called it a disgusting moment. Between 2001 and 2007, Kanye was definitely on top of the world. Within a short period, he'd managed to earn himself the title of the artist who killed a gangster rap, and then in November 2007, tragedy struck again. His mother, Donda, died from a heart attack after cosmetic surgery. In his first concert following the funeral, Kanye dedicated a performance of Hey Mama to her. Months later, he broke up with his then-fiancée, Alexis Pfeiffer. You could tell from his next album that Kanye was still going through a lot of grief, pain, and alienation. The album, titled 808 and Heartbreak, was released 12 months after his mom died. And to a large extent, Kanye abandoned rapping in that album. Instead, he chose to sing through an auto-tune vocal processor and even announced that hip-hop was over for him. But guess what? He still won 2 Grammys that year for guest raps he made on Estelle's American Boy and T.I.'s Swagger Like Us. After his mother's death and a couple of clashes, particularly with Taylor Swift, West took a break from the music industry to focus on fashion. What you may not know, though, is that the rapper and producer was already collaborating with labels including Nike and A Bathing Ape on limited edition sneakers since 2006. It's rumored that he even interned at Gap in 2009 and later in Fendi to gain experience. In 2011, Kanye launched his first collection in Paris, but it didn't go as planned. In the words of Long Nguyen, who is the style director of Flaunt magazine, "You can't dump fox fur on a runway and call it luxury." His second collection a year later also received a lukewarm reception, and Kanye announced that he would no longer be showing in Paris. Meanwhile, between 2007 and 2013, West was collaborating with Nike on Air Yeezys. The high-top sneaker was released in 2007 and was a huge success. It was the dream of every sneaker enthusiast across the globe. However, it is said that Nike refused to grant Kanye's request for royalties from the sales of the sneakers, and so he left the American sportswear brand in 2013, moving over to Adidas. In 2013, he collaborated with the French label APC on a capsule collection and also signed a $10 million deal with Adidas. With this, he launched his first apparel collection, Yeezy Season 1, with Adidas in October 2015. But then, in 2016, Kanye made the headlines when he literally begged Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg via Twitter to invest $1 billion into his ideas. He went on to state that he was personally $53 million in debt. The truth is that Kanye wasn't really broke as most people may have thought. According to Forbes, the rapper was averaging $1.1 million a night while on tour and had made about $72 million before taxes over the last 3 years. And true to this, Kanye's tweet suggested that he had more or less money management problems. In a follow-up tweet, he said, "Yes, I am personally rich and I can buy furs and houses for my family." So Kanye was never really broke. He just had outrageous spending habits. Here's a quick rundown of some of his extravagant purchases. Kim's engagement ring, which cost between $2.5 million and $3 million. Kim's glam squad of $250,000 during the Yeezus tour. International jet trips at more than $33,000 per trip. Customized Birkin bag. Jewelry at Bet Awards of up to $300,000. Diamond-encrusted teeth, estimated to be more than $60,000. Sources close to Kanye claim that his $53 million debt claim isn't really a personal debt. It's possible that this is the amount that Kanye had taken out of his own purse to fund certain aspects of his fashion and music businesses. Whether the rapper was truly in debt or not, he has done exceptionally well for himself since he asked Zuckerberg for money. According to Forbes, his apparel brand Yeezy is a billion-dollar business empire. In 2019, the Bank of America Corp valued the sneaker side of the business alone at $3 billion. Kanye West was able to negotiate an unheard-of 11% royalty on the wholesale price of his sneakers with Adidas. To put this in perspective, basketball legend Michael Jordan has a Jordan line of sneakers with Nike that still generates approximately $3 billion in annual sales for the company. However, Forbes pegs the royalty the basketballer is getting about 5%. But here's the thing, Jordan doesn't own his brand, while West does. Although it took Kanye more than 2 years to release his first design under Adidas after signing a deal with them in 2013, his Yeezy line quickly gained momentum. In 2015, Yeezy Boost 750, for example, sold out within 10 minutes at a retail price of $350. Since then, several limited edition releases such as the Yeezy Boost 350, Yeezy 950, and Yeezy Boost 700 have had record sales at retail prices. In an Instagram post last year, Kim Kardashian West showered praises on her husband, stating that she is incredibly proud of her husband. She wrote, "It's of no surprise to anyone who works with or is close to Kanye that he has been able to turn millions of dollars in debt into $1 billion in only 4 years, 100% on his own terms, while owning 100% of his business." Kanye West often credits his success in part to his Christian faith and also to his diagnosis of bipolar disorder. He chooses to describe the latter as a superpower that is a key to his creativity, though. He also chooses to describe himself as a product guy. He says, "To make products that make people feel an immense amount of joy and solve issues and problems in their life, that's the problem solving that I love to do." While the bulk of Kanye's income comes from his partnership with Adidas through Yeezy, the rapper also possesses about $200 million in other assets. This includes real estate properties and his music catalog. According to Bloomberg, his music catalog is worth around $110.5 million. Ironically, when Forbes published an article calling the rapper a billionaire, he debunked them, arguing that he was worth more than $1.3 billion. He texted Forbes arguing that it's $3.3 billion since no one at Forbes knows how to count. His personal accountant, David Choi, also followed up with an unaudited balance sheet to Bloomberg, claiming that the rapper's net worth is $3.15 billion. And there you have it. Kanye West grew his net worth to over $1 billion from his little days as a producer. He wasn't satisfied with producing, so he delved into rapping and followed up with business. This is a pure growth mindset. The moment you believe that you have enough, you stop growing. I hope you've learned a thing or two from the life of Kanye West.